Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're diving into some major updates on the 2024 election where Donald Trump is making serious waves in the polls. According to the latest data, Trump has pulled even in Virginia, is dominating the key swing states, and is even holding a national lead. This info comes straight from the New York Times and is definitely shaking up the race. So let's break down the updated electoral map based on these new numbers. But before we get into the details, hit the subscribe button, like this video, and leave your thoughts in the comments. Thank you for your support. First, let's start by locking in the solid states for both candidates to narrow things down. Kamala Harris has her secure states: California, Hawaii, Vermont, Massachusetts, Connecticut, Rhode Island, Maryland, Washington, D.C., and Maine's 1st District. On Trump's side, he's expected to lock down Utah, Wyoming, Idaho, Montana, North and South Dakota, all of Nebraska except for the 2nd District, Kansas, Oklahoma, Missouri, Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, Kentucky, West Virginia, Indiana, South Carolina, and Alaska. This early layout gives Trump 125 electoral votes right out of the gate. Now, let's turn to Virginia, where the latest poll shows Trump tied with Harris at 45, based on a survey of 1,000 adults. This is a big hit to Harris, especially since Biden won Virginia by over 10 in 2020. To see her struggling here signals a major shift. Virginia has become just as competitive as other key battleground states like Arizona, Nevada, Pennsylvania, and Michigan. With its 13 electoral votes, Virginia is now a crucial piece of the puzzle for both campaigns. On any separate poll of registered voters, Harris holds a narrow two-leg. She led, but with a margin of error that's far from secure. For context, Biden had a solid double-digit lead here just 4 years ago, so the fact that Harris is struggling is a bad sign for her campaign. What makes this even more interesting is the comparison to 2021, when Republican Glenn Youngkin pulled off a surprise win in Virginia's governor race against Democrat Terry McAuliffe. McAuliffe was favored for most of that election, but Youngkin surged ahead late in the race. A pattern we've often seen with Trump. Historically, Trump tends to perform better in late polling, particularly in the final stretch leading up to November. If this trend holds, Trump could very well flip Virginia. And if he does, Harris's chances of winning the presidency would take a massive hit. Another key data point comes from a new poll by the New York Times, which shows Trump ahead of Harris in a sample of 2,400 registered voters. This marks yet another poll where Trump is in the lead. Even though the New York Times is known for leaning left, they're showing Trump on top, which speaks volumes. In fact, the New York Times overestimated Biden's support back in 2020. So this latest poll could be an even more reliable indicator of Trump's strength. If Trump wins the popular vote, or even comes close, he's in a great position to reclaim the presidency. He could even lose the popular vote by a small margin, 1 to 3 points, and still hit the 270 electoral votes needed. On the flip side, Harris needs a much bigger national lead of 3 to 5 points to secure victory. And right now, that doesn't seem likely. So let's take a look at the likely states. Those expected to be won by 7 to 15 points. Kamala Harris will still take Washington and Oregon, but not with the overwhelming margin Biden had in 2020. In these states, we're likely looking at a win margin between 10 to 15 points for Harris. Illinois, with its 19 electoral votes, is also in Harris's favor, though probably by less than 15 points. Colorado is also still in Harris's column, but her lead there has slimmed down from the 14-point margin Biden had in 2020. New York and New Jersey are also leaning Harris, but scandals in both states could make those results less predictable. In New York, Governor Kathy Hochul and Mayor Eric Adams are both facing unpopularity, while in New Jersey, Senator Bob Menendez has been caught up in bribery charges. Even Delaware, which isn't as liberal as its neighbors, is in the likely category rather than safe for Harris. Now let's shift back to Trump's side. His likely states include Iowa and Ohio, both of which have leaned red in recent elections. In 2016, Trump won both by nearly double digits after years of Democratic control. By 2020, Democrats were optimistic about flipping these states, with polls showing tight races, but Trump still won both by solid margins. Heading into 2024, it's clear that Trump remains the strong favorite in these Midwestern battlegrounds. So there you have it. The 2024 race is shaping up to be a tight battle, with Trump gaining momentum in critical areas. Stay tuned as we track these developments and watch how the race unfolds.